Imagine waking up one morning and your country has no government. No police. No laws. Just warlords fighting for survival. That was Japan for over 100 years. And this is how the samurai became legends. So here's what happened. The year is 1467. Japan has an emperor, but he's basically powerless. The real ruler is the shogun, a military dictator who keeps everything in check. Under him are the daimyo, powerful lords who control different regions. And under them are the samurai, professional warriors who serve their masters. It's a pyramid. Everyone knows their place. But then the shogun dies. And his heir is weak. Two powerful daimyo families start arguing about who should have more influence. The Hosokawa clan. The Yamana clan. Both want control. In 1467, they go to war. This kicks off the Onin War. It lasts 11 years. Kyoto, the capital, gets destroyed. Burned to the ground. And when the war finally ends, nobody really wins. But here's the thing, the damage is done. The shogun's authority is shattered. The daimyo realize they don't need permission anymore. They can just take what they want. So they do. This period gets a name, Sengoku Jidai. The Age of Warring States. It runs from roughly 1467 to 1615. Over 150 years of constant warfare. Think about that. Multiple generations who never knew peace. Comment below if you think you could survive this era. Because it was brutal. Now let's talk about the samurai themselves. You've probably heard about Bushido, the way of the warrior. Honor. Loyalty. Never surrender. Die before you're disgraced. But here's the truth, it's more complicated than that. During the Sengoku period, survival mattered more than philosophy. Sure, samurai valued loyalty. But they also switched sides when it made sense. If your lord was losing, you might join the winning team. Because dead samurai don't feed their families. This was called Gekkokujo. It means the lower overthrows the higher. Servants killing their masters. Peasants becoming generals. Everything was up for grabs. And the samurai weren't just sword fighters. They used bows. Spears. Guns when Europeans brought them in the 1540s. Whatever worked. Their main weapon was actually the yari, a long spear. Great for battlefield fighting. The katana was a backup weapon. A symbol of status, sure, but not always practical in mass combat. Training started young. Like, 7 years old young. Boys learned horseback riding, archery, swordsmanship. They studied military strategy. How to read terrain. How to set ambushes. But samurai weren't mindless killers. Many studied poetry. Calligraphy. Tea ceremony. There was this idea that a true warrior should be cultured. Balanced. Not just a brute. Still, war was their job. And business was booming. During the Sengoku period, hundreds of daimyo fought for power. But 3 men eventually rose above the rest. Let me tell you about them. Oda Nobunaga was the first. Born in 1534, nobody expected much from him. His own family called him the Fool of Owari. He acted weird. Dressed strangely. Didn't follow the rules. But Nobunaga was a genius. In 1560, he won the Battle of Okehazama. His tiny force of 2,000 men defeated an army of 25,000. How? He used a surprise attack during a thunderstorm. Killed the enemy commander. Sent everyone else running. After that, people took him seriously. Nobunaga did things differently. He promoted based on talent, not birth. He used guns when other daimyo still relied on traditional weapons. He built powerful alliances. And he was ruthless. In 1571, he burned down Mount Hiei, a Buddhist monastery. Killed thousands of monks. Why? Because they opposed him. Nobunaga didn't care about tradition or religion when it got in his way. By 1582, he controlled about a third of Japan. Unification seemed close. Then one of his generals betrayed him. Akechi Mitsuhide attacked Nobunaga at Honnoji Temple. Surrounded him. No escape. So Nobunaga committed seppuku, ritual suicide. He was 47 years old. But his work wasn't finished. Toyotomi Hideyoshi took over next. Here's where it gets interesting. Hideyoshi wasn't born samurai. He was a peasant. Son of a farmer. He started as Nobunaga's sandal bearer. Literally carried his shoes. But Nobunaga saw something in him. Promoted him. Gave him chances. When Nobunaga died, Hideyoshi avenged him. Hunted down Mitsuhide. Killed him 11 days later. Then Hideyoshi made a power move. He claimed he was continuing Nobunaga's vision. And he did. By 1590, Hideyoshi unified Japan. Every daimyo either submitted or got crushed. He became the most powerful man in the country. But Hideyoshi made some big mistakes. He tried to invade Korea. Twice. In 1592 and 1597. Both invasions failed miserably. Thousands of samurai died. Resources drained. Nothing gained. He also created the sword hunt of 1588. Took weapons away from peasants. Made sure only samurai could carry swords. This locked in the class system. No more social mobility. No more Gekkokujo. Hideyoshi died in 1598. And the power struggle started again. Tokugawa Ieyasu was waiting. Ieyasu was patient. Careful. Strategic. He fought alongside both Nobunaga and Hideyoshi. Learned from them. Watched their mistakes. After Hideyoshi died, Japan split into factions. Some supported Hideyoshi's young son. Others supported Ieyasu. In 1600, they met at Sekigahara. This battle decided everything. Over 150,000 warriors fought. Ieyasu's Eastern Army versus Ishida Mitsunari's Western Army. The fighting lasted 6 hours. Ieyasu won because he'd made secret deals with some of his enemies. During the battle, they switched sides. The Western Army collapsed. That was it. Game over. In 1603, Ieyasu became shogun. He moved the capital to Edo, which is now Tokyo. The Tokugawa shogunate would rule Japan for the next 265 years. The Sengoku period was over. Drop a comment, which of these 3 leaders would you have served under? Because each had a completely different style. So what was daily life actually like? For most people, it was hard. Armies needed food. They took it from farmers. Villages got raided constantly. Crops burned. People killed. Famines happened regularly. If you were a farmer and you saw a samurai army coming, you ran. Or you hid. Because they'd take everything. Some peasants became ashigaru, foot soldiers. Not proper samurai, but fighters. They carried spears or guns. Got paid in rice. It was dangerous work, but better than starving. Cities were different. Places like Sokai became rich from trade. Merchants sold weapons, armor, supplies. War is expensive, and someone's got to fund it. Women had it complicated. Samurai women learned to fight. They used the naginata, a bladed pole weapon. They defended homes when the men were away at war. Some became famous warriors. Tomo Gozen fought in the 12th century, before the Sengoku period, but she set the standard. Female warriors existed throughout this era. They just don't get talked about as much. But women also became political tools. Marriages sealed alliances. Daughters got traded between clans like chess pieces. Your dad might marry you off to an enemy to prevent war. Or start one. And then there were the ninja. Yeah, they were real. Called shinobi. They weren't magical. They were spies. Assassins. Scouts. They gathered intelligence. Set fires. Spread rumors. The IGA and Koga clans were famous for this. Both sides hired them. Ninja didn't care about honor or loyalty. They cared about getting paid. Nobunaga actually attacked the IGA ninja. Burned out their strongholds. Killed thousands. Why? Because they were too dangerous to leave alone. Religion changed during this time too. Christianity arrived in 1549 when Jesuit missionaries showed up. Some daimyo converted. Not always because they believed, but because Christians came with Portuguese traders. And Portuguese traders brought guns. Weapons meant power. So some lords became Christian to get better trade deals. This didn't last. Eventually, the Tokugawa shogunate banned Christianity. Persecuted converts. But during the Sengoku period, anything that gave you an edge was fair game. After Sekigahara, Ieyasu spent years making sure this never happened again. He took land from daimyo who opposed him. Gave it to loyal followers. He created the Sankinkotai system, which forced daimyo to spend every other year in Edo. Under his watch. This did two things. It kept potential rebels close. And it bankrupted them. Because maintaining two households, one in your domain and one in the capital, costs a fortune. Can't start a war if you're broke. Ieyasu also restricted castle building. One castle per domain. And he had to approve it. No unauthorized fortifications. He banned Christianity in 1614. Too risky. Foreign religions meant foreign influence. He closed Japan off from the world. Limited trade. Only the Dutch got special permission, and only at one port. Nagasaki. This isolation lasted over 200 years. But here's the thing, it worked. Peace came to Japan. The samurai became bureaucrats instead of warriors. They still carried swords, but most never used them. The country stabilized. Culture flourished. Cities grew. This became the Edo period. But the samurai? They never forgot their warrior past. That mythology, that code of Bushido, got refined during peacetime. Became idealized. The violent reality of the Sengoku period turned into romantic legend. And that's what most people know today. The polished version. Not the messy, brutal truth. So here's what the Sengoku period teaches us. It shows what happens when central authority collapses. When might makes right. When survival becomes the only goal. For over 150 years, Japan tore itself apart. Hundreds of thousands died. Cities burned. Families destroyed. But it also created something unique. The samurai culture we know today, even if it's mostly myth, came from this period. The idea that warriors should be more than just killers. That discipline matters. That honor means something. Three men, Nobunaga, Hideyoshi, and Ieyasu, rebuilt Japan from chaos. Each played their part. Each had their moment. There's a saying about them. Nobunaga mixed the cake. Hideyoshi baked it. Ieyasu ate it. Nobunaga broke the old system. Hideyoshi unified the country. Ieyasu made it last. The samurai went from chaotic warlords to symbols of discipline and loyalty. From brutal reality to beautiful mythology. And that transformation happened because Japan went through hell first. The Sengoku period wasn't romantic. It was desperate. Bloody. Tragic. But it shaped everything that came after. Think about your own life. Sometimes the hardest periods create the most growth. Japan's century and a half of war eventually led to 2.5 centuries of peace. I want to know, what surprised you most about this period? Did anything challenge what you thought you knew about samurai? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you made it this far, you're clearly into history. So subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I've got more videos coming on feudal Japan, other warrior cultures, and the real stories behind the legends. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.